I know that in situations of uncertainty and adversity, there's always opportunity present. What is up, guys? Welcome to the Start Today podcast. I'm your host, Chris Cavallini. Today, I have a special episode. It's more of a message than an episode, guys. And we're going to talk about what's going on right now in society, right? Like it's a pretty crazy time to be alive, no question. The fact of the matter is, I don't know that anybody who's listening to this has ever experienced in their lifetime what's currently going on regarding the coronavirus. There's just a lot of uncertainty, a lot of speculation, a lot of information that's being put out there, a lot of misinformation. And guys, I wanted to just jump on here and just have a conversation with you guys, give you guys my input, my insight, basically my perspective, and also kind of give you an understanding of some of the things that I'm doing to mitigate risk and just prepare myself for what lies ahead. Now, what's really important, guys, and I want to jump into this right off rip, is getting an understanding of why everything that's happening right now, why it is happening. Okay. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the sanctions on travel, the suspended travel. I'm talking about, multiple professional sports organizations canceling their seasons, suspending their seasons, public gatherings being dispelled, and just overall, just kind of change in our culture and overall society and just our general way of doing things. Normally, when things like that happen, radical change, drastic change, it's normally an indication that something is wrong. There's a huge problem. There's an imminent threat. There's some sort of a crisis or tragedy going on. The fact is, as of this moment when I'm recording this, it's Friday, I believe the 14th. That actually isn't the case. Not for those of us in the United States. You see, love him or hate him, our president, Donald Trump, this guy, he's taking just massive action, aggressive action to ensure that this thing, remains stable, that this thing remains contained, that the people in the United States, that we don't end up in the same position or situation as where China and Italy and some of these other European countries that are in. The fact is, all the things that are being done are precautionary measures, okay? And they're being done because not because if this thing widespread breaks out, that everybody who comes into contact with is just gonna bodies are gonna start dropping on the street, or people are gonna just basically turn into flesh-eating zombies once or if they get contaminated with the coronavirus. It's being done to mitigate risk, because the facts are this, okay? 80% of people who either have already had or will contract the coronavirus actually won't demonstrate any symptoms. Beyond that, there's a lot of people who will come into contact with the coronavirus who won't actually get it, okay? This virus is affecting people. About 5,000 people to this point have died. The overwhelming majority of them are well in their 80s, okay, with pre-existing medical issues. The thing about the coronavirus is it's a new thing. Okay, so we don't have a response in place. There's not a pill or a vaccine currently, or a shot that we can take. So if we don't take these drastic measures as far as the suspended travel, the sanctions, businesses closing down, the sporting leagues, and all these different events, canceling their events and such. If we don't do that, basically we run the risk of a widespread, breakout of this virus. Now, the majority of the symptoms that people exhibit, the people who actually do have symptoms, are super minor in nature. We're talking about like a runny nose, sore throat, a cough, like the chills, like that. Not a huge deal. Okay. Not a huge deal for, younger, healthier people that have, decent immunity. The problem with that though is if we don't take these drastic measures, okay, and let's say the majority of people who listen to this, the demographic of people who listen to this is on the younger side, between 20 and 40 years old. A lot of you guys are active, prioritize your health. So you guys are well, you guys are healthy. If every single one of you contracted the coronavirus, okay, you may not have any symptoms. Okay, you may not have any symptoms whatsoever, but if you come into contact with somebody who doesn't have a strong immune system, right? Someone who's on the older side, someone who isn't older, somebody who might be, younger, but has pre-existing health problems, they don't have the immune system to fend off these symptoms. So it escalates and they end up in a bad situation. And if this replicates itself and gets to the point where, millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people experience this, what ends up happening is we have a situation where we have a lot of people exhibiting symptoms, but we don't have the response, in place from a healthcare standpoint to treat it in real time, to prevent it from escalating to a situation where, we have elderly individuals that, begin to drop like flies on the street. So guys, I really need you to understand that whether you like it or not, we're here. We're here. On this show, we talk a lot about, seeking out discomfort. We talk about mental toughness. We talk about, being the guy or girl that, when shit hits the fan and everybody else is freaking the fuck out and looking for somebody to hide behind, you're there standing tall, in control, and you know exactly what to do. This situation is going to expose a lot of people, for the good or the bad. I want you guys to understand that, by worrying, stressing, and, freaking out and speculating, you are doing nothing but exacerbating the issue. Okay. Not only, when, we worry and stress and live in a state of perpetual fear, in those situations, our cortisol levels are going to raise. Okay. What happens when our cortisol levels raise? Well, cortisol is the stress hormone. And basically it makes us fat. It makes us gain weight in, all those wonderful places like your lower belly, right? The upper back, you're around your ass love handles. It's going to make you fat. It's going to make you break out. It's going to lower your immune system in addition, right? Which is going to make you even more susceptible to the coronavirus or any other sickness. But beyond that, another thing that it has the potential of doing is actually attracting when we live in a state of fear, right? When we're trying to, avoid something and we're worried about, trying to not come into contact or not have this happen or not have that happen. The law of attraction, right? Quantum mechanics proves to us that we actually end up attracting that same thing that we're attempting to avoid. Guys, it's real simple. At this point, what our society needs is leaders. We need leadership. We need people through their actions, through their optimism, through their positive attitude and resilient mindset to show people a better way of doing things. Because the reason so many people are freaking the fuck out, the reason so many people are uncertain, the reason so many people think that the world is imminently coming to an end is because that's what everybody else around them is doing. But the more calm, composed, collective individuals that we have that are leading the way through their example, the easier we're going to be able to navigate our way through these trying times and, this uncertain situation. The facts are the facts, okay? The objective, scientific facts are proving to us that 80% of people that come into contact with the coronavirus, that actually not come into contact, that actually get the coronavirus, will not have any symptoms, okay? The people who, unfortunately have passed away or will pass away are individuals that are well into their 80s, okay, with pre-existing health problems. So guys, this situation is actually not that bad. the recourse, the actions that are being taken, all the precautionary measures are being done to ensure that that remains the case. We have to make sure that we maintain a positive attitude and a positive outlook, that we don't feed into the bullshit and the negativity and the fear and the panic. And honestly, guys, the way that we're going to change the world, the way that we're going to just get through the situation in the most productive, positive light is literally by influencing the individuals around us one person at a time. That's it. We have a responsibility as individuals, all right, who understand the benefit and the value of seeking out discomfort, right? As individuals who get after it and go hard, like, look, all the shit that we talk about on this podcast, all the things that I'm teaching you guys, all the things that you see me doing, all the discussions that we've had, the topics that we've covered. Guess what? This is not a drill. It's time to put into play all the things that you guys have learned through your personal development journey. It's time to rise up. It's time to lead. It's time to show the people around you a better way of doing things and capitalize off of this opportunity to develop your character, capitalize off this opportunity to show people the value and the benefit of remaining positive in what would otherwise be considered a negative situation. The path forward, guys, may not be clear at this point, but one thing is for certain. If we stay strong, we stay resilient, we stay safe, and we stay on offense, we will unquestionably, all of us, come out on the other end of this thing, not just okay, but in a much better place than we've ever been before. Hard times create strong men. Celebrate adversity, something I talk about often. It's a core value at my company, and it's a core value at my company because I've been through adverse situations on so many times it was unbelievable. And the first few times, I was going through hard things where like the odds were not in my favor. It seemed that, the entire world was coming down on my head. And look, I was in a situation that I did not believe I would be able to recover from, but I didn't quit. I stayed in the fight. I did what I was supposed to do. And I came out on the other end in a much better place. And after having that pattern replicate itself so many times, now I'm in a position where I anticipate these things. I know that in situations of uncertainty and adversity, there's always opportunity present, but you absolutely have to have that mindset and that understanding. Regardless, like it or not, we are in this situation. We are in this situation and we have an obligation, a responsibility to handle ourselves with dignity, with class, right? With grit, with determination. Look, we're in the best country that there is to live, period. Okay. Like him or hate him, President Trump is a fucking beast, and his response to this thing has been insane. I mean, this man is willing to put his own administration in the biggest deficit, the most amount of debt that this country has ever seen in the history of time. This man is willing to do that in order to protect the American people. And there's something to be said about that. Hopefully, in a few months from now, hopefully sooner, we can look back on this and see that, oh, maybe some of these things were preemptive and we didn't have to do all that. And it was, we took too many precautionary measures and we didn't really have to be that safe and whatever. Hopefully we can have that conversation. But I'll tell you what, I'd rather be safe. I'd rather stay on offense. I'd rather do all the things that I am capable of at my level to ensure that myself, the people around me, my friends, their families, the outside world are safe, and that we don't exacerbate this issue or contribute to this issue. I'd much rather be having that conversation than to know that because I was negligent, because I didn't hold the line and enforce the standard within my company or just, around me in my personal life, that, I was sloppy and allowed somebody to come in and get somebody else sick. And maybe they didn't even get that. Maybe the person was sick, but didn't have any symptoms, but They then got around somebody who had a weak immune system, got that person sick, and then that person, like, I don't want to be in a situation where I ever have to think about that for the rest of my life. So I'm going to do everything in my power to get through this in the best way that I know how. And the best way to do anything is to do it with a good attitude. Do it with a good attitude, a good mindset, and recognize the responsibility you have to lead other people to do the same. Like it or not, guys, we're in this situation. But again, what happens from here is far less important than how we respond. I hope that you guys will ride with me and through our actions, lead by example to where we can get through this and look back in the situation and know that because of it, we're all stronger, we're more mentally resilient, and we've been able to navigate our way through adversity, which, as we know, is how character is optimally developed. Guys, stay safe, stay calm, stay resilient, and most importantly, stay positive. I'll talk to you guys soon. Trouble on my mind, so much